rolling.
So as clinicians, we're really quite interested to see if there are different factors that may have put somebody at risk. For example, if the obsessive compulsive type of traits seem to be an important component of the illness, then we'd be doing an approach that we call cognitive remediation, of trying to help people go against those sort of traits. So somebody who really likes detail and following rules, what we're going to be doing is trying to help them be able to be more spontaneous. And we do this by sort of suggesting that they can throw a dice and choose to do a behaviour. First of all, it might be going to work a different way or getting up at a different time. And we might put food into that context, what sort of snack they're going to have. Or we might even doing it like putting the different plans in an envelope and then choosing one from a hat or from an envelope, etc. Related to that is being able to see the bigger picture, because often it goes with being extremely good at detail and the planning, but not being able to have the bigger picture of life at hand. So we teach how to summarise things, how to get the gist of a programme or an article. So those are the sort of things that help with that tendency to have strengths in the obsessive compulsive temperament. Not that we're saying that that personality style is bad in itself. It is just if that is the only thing you can play, because in certain jobs, being a chartered accountant, being a doctor, for instance, being conscientious and looking for details is really important. But managing the chaos of an accident and emergency where things don't follow rules and you're having to prioritise, you might need a different skill set. Similarly, if you've got this very anxious disposition, you might be trying to teach being more courageous and being able to not undertake a response that can be counterproductive. If you're very sensitised to anxiety, it's very easy to avoid the things that provoke that anxiety. But that means your life gets smaller and smaller, that you aren't able to do things. And of course, the fear of food is one of these. So that sort of approach doesn't give you the best life course. And so being able to help people take risks, feel the fear, but know that the fear will subside and that there are ways that they can use to cope with that they have probably got their fear detector just set too high. And that can be helpful if you're in certain environments. Maybe for women it's very helpful because you've got to look after babies, so you do have to have a higher anxiety setting than men tend to have, and that might be why there is this gender difference. So again, we're saying that none of these things are bad, so we call this being a super feeler, and so it has good things, but it has counterproductive things for the self. Whereas for society, if we've got people who are aware of threat and are able to do that, that's quite useful for the group as a whole. Then the third thing we try and teach is for people with these having difficulty with communicating with others, a tendency always to be subservient, and assume that people are putting them down, and are not feeling they're respected in a conversation. And again, trying to help them sort of develop connections, and connections that they're comfortable with. And because this social isolation is one of the most toxic things for us as human beings, trying to help them develop social activities So they may be things with the family that they've enjoyed before, doing yoga, Pilates, or joining a choir, and being able to teach people to be with people. Sometimes we have to do that, just be there in an area that you can people watch as a first step before there's more complex forms of interaction, and then finding people who do get you and who you can perhaps just communicate in a sort of low-key pattern that suits you. Cut.
Very good. So what would be helpful, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
can we
Yeah.
zip through these?
Are you okay? Fine.